Before we could start working on the bed, I had to get the space ready for it, which involved removing a section of this built-in shelf, which apparently was a signature touch of this home builder. Unfortunately, it was just low enough to interfere with the bed cabinet. First up, I cut all the mattress support slats to length using pine 1x2s. The lengths get paired together in an L shape using glue and brad nails. I'm using a powered nailer here, but a hammer and regular brad nails will work just as well. When working with this kind of material, as well as the plywood, it's important to use pilot holes to avoid splitting. I'm also using countersink bits to make sure the heads of the screws sit flush with the surface. Cutting plywood can present a bit of a challenge, especially when working with the really thick stuff. If you have a table saw, I recommend rough cutting the pieces into more manageable sizes before sending them through to their final width. If you don't have a table saw, I would highly recommend using a circular saw adapter like the Ripcut or AccuCut from Craig. At the very least, you'll need a way to make accurate straight cuts. In a pinch, you can use a straight edge as a guide like I'm doing here. One trick I've learned is using a sacrificial piece of scrap wood on the underside of your working piece prevents chipping or blowouts when drilling through. Making sure the hardware was positioned correctly was probably the most difficult and critical part of this entire build. The instruction booklet did a great job of clearly showing where everything goes, and if you take your time and measure carefully, it's not nearly as intimidating as it first looks. I did have to improvise with a few parts, like using this drill bit as a spacer as the instructions called for a 5/16 inch gap between the ball stud and the side rail. Plywood is a great versatile material to work with, but leaving the edges exposed looks really ugly. There are a couple ways to cover plywood edges, but I chose to use edge banding. It's a thin wood veneer with heat-activated adhesive on the back. The application is simple, just iron it on and either cut or sand away the excess on the edges and you'll have a ready-to-finish surface. Any edges exposed in the final product need to be covered for a more professional look. Once all the hardware was on, I gave all the pieces a basic white coat of paint and then it was time to start assembly. I did slightly deviate from the instructions for the headboard by using pocket holes to join it to the side walls. If you don't have a pocket hole jig, that's okay. The instructions state that you can drill through the side and into the headboard. I just felt that this would be a little stronger. Since our pull bar had not arrived yet, I did have to fashion a temporary pull down using a nylon strap. When first placing the mattress on, make sure to keep the weight on the bed or have someone help hold it down, as the gas springs will want to snap the bed back up. The mattress acts as a counterweight to keep the bed open. Once the cabinet was in and everything seemed to work well, it was time to cover up those built-in shelves. I made 2 box wraps using thin plywood that slip over the shelves, covering up the cut edges. Ideally, I'd just remove the shelves altogether, but that would require a good bit of drywall patching, and good drywall work is an art form, and I'm certainly no artist, so we may revisit that later. Once we finally got the pull handle, I had to do a little bit of disassembly to install it. Again, remember to keep weight on the bed if you have to remove the mattress. Now that the bed is finished and the room is ready to decorate, we had to celebrate with a little happy dance. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I feel like with people spending a lot more time at home due to recent events, this is a great way to get the extra space you're looking for, maybe for a home office or just extra space in general. Who couldn't use more space, right? I've got a full materials list in the description as well as a link to the kit that we used, so be sure to check that out and I'll see you guys on the next build.